Ankle injury during practice.
Are you confident or hopeful that it can be just the 4 weeks?
Very hopeful. There was conversation of how it would play out over the next 4 weeks, and ultimately thought it was the best thing to make sure it fully heals and he's not rushed back from it. But it's always impossible to predict, obviously, when it's that kind of time frame, but optimistic that we'll have a chance to get him back for the regular season.
What have you seen from Cheeto the last 2 weeks with the increased role? Is he back to where he was before the Cleveland?
Yeah, you just see so much confidence and seeing concepts and understanding the scheme of the defense and the communication aspect of things. Those are all things he's tremendous at, and he just continues to improve physically to my eye. It really is amazing that he came back to play so quickly as a DB off of an ACL. And so continue to see really good things from Cheeto and always have the utmost confidence in him getting out there and helping us. And again, they threw some balls downfield against him, and he was right there in position every step with some of the fastest. That's one of the fastest receiving groups in the league, and I thought he was step for step with those guys.
Jack, there was a little extra emotion from you coming off the field in Jacksonville after a big win for the scheme, obviously, but is part of that fire kind of reminding the fans, hey, stick with us?
No, I think it was just I was happy for our guys, to give what they've given us every day in practice, every day in the meetings, the attention. And so just really happy for them. I was, there was appreciation for the fans that were down there. I thought it was a strong – I felt that in Arizona. I felt that in San Francisco. We've had fans that have really supported us, and we like to reward them with good games. It feels like some of the well-traveled games, we've had good performances for them. And so an appreciation for them and truly being genuinely happy that they were all down there. You see some familiar faces from some fans that we see here in our own stadium, and others that maybe live down there or travel down there from afar. But also just happy for our players that they got to feel that winning feeling again after all the work that they've put in and that we've asked them to do. Felt most excited for those guys.
And to follow up on that, you've been saying you can change the narrative in 1 week, one game, you lose 3 straight, you win that game in prime time. Do you feel like that a game like Monday night does change the narrative?
I say that it really doesn't matter. We just want to win games and create a path to postseason play for ourselves. That's all that we really care about. And so I kind of kick myself for using the word narrative, because who cares? It just go out there and let's play good football. And we've put in the work, and there's a lot of confidence from the players that they're prepared for it. It's not false confidence that they're just projecting. We genuinely see them put in the work and they're ready to go play. And I think they just showed everybody that. But again, we don't really need to worry about the narrative. It's just that's more just to say week to week in the NFL things can be so fluid. But again, that's not anything that we need to concern ourselves with.
Like, how much does that give the players at least a goal to strive for, rather than maybe at the end of the season just hey, got to go out and put something on tape? All those things. There's literally a goal to strive for.
Yeah, there's something to that, that there's still plenty on the line for us, and we're in a position, just the way things are shaking out around the league, that, again, we keep preaching about controlling our own destiny, and to an extent we really do. We get an opportunity to play some teams that are in maybe slightly more favorable standing than we are right now. But again, that's part of controlling it. You go out there and play good football against Indy, and you put yourself right in the race, and you knock them down a peg, and then you've got that tiebreaker over a team, that's in a very similar position. So it's good that we got that win, put ourselves in a good position going this week, and now full focus on Indy, short week, 6-day week for us, and we got to continue to just stack what we did last week.
You obviously knew Browning played well. Rewatching it, did anything stand out even more impressive based on what you're seeing on film?
Yeah, I think it's 5 incompletions for 2 drops, 2 throwaways, and a tipped ball, and so that's pretty dang accurate, and so really impressive performance by him, by the players around him, the linemen giving him protection, everyone being there where they need to be and playing up. And that's kind of what we've talked about. When you got a backup quarterback, everyone's got to raise their level of play. Everyone raised their level of play. The defense made some big stops that gave us the ball back in a position to recapture momentum. Offensively, those guys all rose up around him and gave what he needed. And then he put in the work, was confident in his abilities, and went out there and I got into a really good rhythm and was able to perform the way that he did.
He hits Jamar on the 76-yarder, walks off the field. I don't know if he even smile. It was hard to tell if he even celebrated at all.
He got hit pretty hard on that one. So, yeah, right under the chin, by the way. So, yeah.
Is that his quiet confidence to a T, though, in terms of not too high, not too low?
Yeah, and catching your breath probably. I think there's maybe a little bit of all of it. But that is him. You know, I think guys that really get focused and in the zone sometimes can appear to be unemotional when in reality it's just processing and making sure they're in the right frame of mind because there's so much on their plate. And again, I thought he did a great job in the noise with a lot of checks that he got to, really handling some of the things that quarterbacks got to handle that can be difficult in a tough environment. And I thought he did a really nice job communicating and putting us in a really good position to be successful.
Zach, you were able to use him on some bootlegs the other night with success. Can that be a strength of his, and what makes a quarterback good in bootlegs?
Yeah, it's definitely a strength of his. You know, I think that's something he's done over the course of his career, and in some weeks a defense it can give you those opportunities, and some weeks they don't. You know, it's just kind of the structure of how they play and how we can formate things, and so we're always trying to do that. Obviously, we were limited with that a lot of points this year with Joe just because of his calf, and those are always things that we've had in our system and we'll employ when it makes sense.
When Chase puts on film and does what he did Monday night, Chase Brown, when he does that, how much more confidence does that give you to play call for him?
I think we've had confidence in him. You know, his opportunities were coming. You know, he being a rookie, coming in the earlier part of the season, you know, getting a role in special teams that way, then he was starting to earn more opportunities than he got hurt. So there's been a confidence there from us and the team to get him involved, and he maximizes opportunities. It wasn't perfect, trust me. There's things I'm sure he's kicking himself about, but I think he'll continue to just improve week to week, and it was good. I think there's something to, you know, being able to give another back some carries and creating a different look for the defense, and I thought Mixon did a great job with his carries as well.
Early in the season, how much of not using him was a rookie finding his feet and earning trust, and how much was you guys, your offense was compromised with what Joe was, and you just don't want to add another variable?
It's a little bit of everything. You know, I can't give you the perfect reason why. It's just as the season goes, sometimes you kind of evolve as an offense. You're doing different people different ways, and I think for all the rookies, we've started involving them more as the season has gone on.
Ryan was just raving about Drew Sample. At what point are you like, you know what, let's put the tight end in the backfield and have him be the pass protecting end? How does a new idea like that become such a big part of what you do?
Yeah, that stems from really the offseason, always having a comfort. That was why it was important to one of the many important reasons to get Drew back was because of our confidence in him and his toughness, his mental awareness to be able to help in so many phases. Special teams, he's done great on special teams. He's done great on offense. He does not get the praise he deserves because he does all those dirty jobs. But what he did in pass protection the other night is ferocious. I mean, he's putting his face on people and making them pay for doing that. And in the run game, the stuff that he does when he's gotten his opportunities in the pass game, he has maximized all those. And so you can't really say enough positive things about Drew Sample and the role he plays in our team, the confidence everyone has in him. When he's in a meaningful position in the game, he's going to make it work. And that's just that's one of those guys that's so critical to your team and your offense. And Drew plays that role with pride. James Casey comes through that role through him. You know, there's a lot of pride from James Casey of coaching a guy for 5 years. And these are all things that we knew from Drew when we drafted him from Washington. It's one of the reasons we wanted him here. And he's continued to just, I hate to say get better and better because we've always understood the value that he has. He just gets more of an opportunity maybe to show it. And he's done it kind of in that running back role on third down as well.
Zach, I'm not sure that Jake can always play to an historic level like he did Monday night because his numbers were off the charts. But what about him tells you that he can be the guy that can continue to be good, great, in big spots the rest of the way?
His consistent preparation. He's done everything he could as a backup to find ways to gain experience, whether it's meeting with the defense, sitting in their meetings, getting his own reps during practice, you know, when he's not the starter, he's got to get the starter reps with pitch. And so he's just done all the necessary things. He's in the building all the time. And that matters because people see that and people, you know that this guy's all about ball and he's around. He's not finding ways to get out of the building and do other things. You see him and Trenton Irwin probably in here as much as any human in this building, non-coach or non-staff member. And so that stuff matters, and so when the whole team's got belief in him and confidence and is pulling for him because of how he interacts with all corners of the locker room, all corners of the staff, then when a guy gets this opportunity, everyone's pulling hard for him and want to do their part to make sure that he can maximize his opportunity. And that's kind of the effect that I think Jake has had as a backup quarterback on this building. And that's why everyone does their part to make sure that he can help this team have success.
And then to do it, I mean, to roll out to his right in the game, and he's on the move, he's throwing over a linebacker, reaching as high as he can in the air and floating perfectly with that touch. I mean, to be in all the meetings, to show up early, to be a guy who's engaged, but then to go out and do it, what does it say about him?
That he's prepared. And again, it's not a false him saying, yeah, I've done the work, I'm ready. It's actually people seeing him do that work. And he's probably done it, behind closed doors when people can't see it, but there's been plenty of consistent time over 3 years where it's not easy to continue to show up in those defensive meetings every single week like he has. It might be good to do it once or twice, and okay, I'm good with that. I've done that. I've checked that box. He's consistent in what he does every single week for 3 years now that he's been in this building. I'm sure he's done it in Minnesota. I had people text me that had been in Minnesota with him, pulling for him, coaches on that staff, players on that team. And so that's the effect that he's had long-term over a lot of people that he's been around, and there's a lot of people pulling for him.
Ryan was talking about his self-awareness, and then he goes through a week saying what he likes and what he doesn't like.
Jake, you're talking about?
Jake,
Yeah.
What was that process like last week as he kind of had his first start, and then you kind of got feedback from him as you got ready for this game Monday night?
Yeah, we go through calls I like, we go through calls he likes, and I can think of what day did we play? Monday morning. Him taking kind of a call off the board and good reasoning for it, and so maybe something I liked a little bit more than he did, and I liked his reason for not liking it, and I took it off the game plan. Now we got about 200 plays on the game plan, so taking one off isn't that big of a deal, but it is important for a guy that hasn't played a lot of starting NFL football to communicate and not just say what he thinks the head coach wants to hear just because the head coach likes to play. You know what I mean? And that's critical for me. And I think we've done a good job of communicating that to our quarterbacks, that it's more about what you feel positive about. And there's time to talk through all that stuff. And so Jake does a good job of communicating things he really likes, things maybe let's hold off on that one till later in the game. Or so we feel like we're very much on the same page as we go through the plan.
I guess because of the preparations for the kind of relationship you have, you've got to give him is that kind of leeway that he's earned as well?
Absolutely. Every quarterback's different. Some you don't value their opinion much, and there's not many I've been around that feel that way. I feel like we've had guys here and elsewhere that have always put in the work, but you do have to earn that right, and he has earned that right to be able to communicate that way, and so we put a lot of value in what he says.
What stands out about Gardner Minshew?
He's got a playmaking ability. I think he does. He raises the level of play of those around him. There's a guy that's out there playing quarterback that teams believe in. He's had this impact on several teams now, and so you can feel that on the tape that he can extend plays. He can play in rhythm. The guys around him believe in him. You can see all that.
Is there toughness about him? A game on the road last week at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
They're behind in overtime. He leads them down one big play.
Yeah.
Leads them down the field. They win in overtime. Is there something about the way he plays, the way he comports himself on film?
Well, I think he's calm. I haven't been around him, so I don't know him. But there appears to be a confidence about him that, again, rubs off on other people. And so in big moments like that, he's able to go make those plays. And again, without having interacted with him and knowing him, I'm always hesitant to talk about all that kind of stuff. But you can see that there's a confidence for the teams he's been on. They always speak very highly of him, and so that's something we're aware of.
Why does the screen game fit you guys so well lately?
Well, we're doing our best to complement other things that we do, whether that's seen or not. We're trying to do our best to take the pressure off other schemes by trying to fit it all together. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I think that the attention to detail has been really good by the guys up front. The attention to detail has been really good by the backs. We've gotten production from the receivers. Sometimes it's not home runs necessarily, but it's good, efficient gains that keeps on track and take the pressure off of other things. And so, it's something we've always spent time and effort on and tried to detail as best we can.
Is there something that has been specifically better during this stretch that has given you the confidence? I mean, obviously, you get a big gain, you're going to be more willing to do it again. But
Yeah.
I mean, leaned heavier on it now than you probably ever have since you've been here?
Yeah, I mean, we've done all types of screens, so it's not like it's one particular family. It's been a little bit of everything, and sometimes screens are a little bit of luck, And Mixon's big screen, to the right backed up was a little bit of luck. We got into a good check. It was the right check versus the look. You don't know how they're going to play it out. They dropped the wrong side that we really wanted, and it just worked out. They had a dropping defensive end that got himself out of position, and everyone just kind of fit up there, and so. Sometimes, you watch teams that maybe have a great screen idea, a great screen look, and it doesn't work out for them. So there's a little bit of luck that's involved sometimes. But again, I think when you prepare the right way and your guys understand the intent, then the luck tends to go in your favor more times than not. But our guys and our coaches have taken a lot of pride in that and trying to make sure that's a useful part of our offense.
That was Jake checking into that screen.
And he was right to do it. They present a lot of different looks off that Abby 8-up look, and that's what he got us to, and it was good shape.
You talk about Sample being underrated, and a guy like Mixon kind of gets, he just he's productive. I mean, he gets yards, running, catching. He always seems to keep pushing the ball forward. Is he not getting enough credit, or is he kind of looked in a different way than maybe he should be?
Again, not getting enough credit. I can guess that Drew Sample doesn't get enough credit just because I know the things he does don't usually draw a lot of attention. For Mixon, it's really I don't know. I don't know
He doesn't hit home runs.
what it is, and so maybe that's part of it. But he does what we need him to do. He puts himself in a position to have efficient runs when we need him. He's where he needs to be in the pass game, and he's done a really good job being productive in our screen game, in the pass game when we need him on checkdowns, and so. I've been proud of the way that Mixon's handled this entire season, and he does the things that we expect him to do, and that's been very productive for us.
Colts aren't a team that's been on primetime much. They don't have a ton of big name stars, you could say, but yet they're in the playoff mix right now.
Yep.
So what are they doing? What has Shane Steichen done in his first year, and what are they doing well as a team?
Shane's a really good offensive mind. I've always had a ton of respect for Shane. Jim Bob Cooter is there as the OC as well. And so those are two guys that in my time in the league have kind of been in similar roles that I've had. So I've always been aware of what they do and have a ton of respect for them. And you can see the creativity and the position they put these guys in. They do an excellent job with that, really stressing defenses. Defensively, Gus Bradley has just been so consistent with every defense he's ever had. They're going to play with a ton of energy, and they're going to make things look very similar and complement different looks out of the same looks. And, those guys are going to play hard. They're going to run to the ball, and they're going to create issues for you that way. And so a lot of respect for those teams. We played the Raiders 2 years ago twice, and it was, it can be like pulling teeth sometimes, to find the right looks and maximize what they do. So, I think it's a really good coaching staff, and they do a great job with the players that play to their full potential there. And so, again, they make every game very difficult.
What's the one trait Browning has to show against Brad? You've played him a couple of times. I mean, is it patience, the way what he throws at you?
I think we all got to be on the same page, without getting too far into it. I think offensively, everyone's just got to be on the same page every play, and that'll help the quarterback as best we can.
When a gadget play doesn't work, does that hit you any differently than any other play that doesn't work?
Well, you look at two things: the process that led you to the play call and the result. And of course, there's always regret on a result that doesn't work. But I think I'm pretty hard on myself of was it the wrong thing to do, and the reasons that led myself to call those two plays. I don't regret the process that led us to that. It doesn't always work out, and there's, that screen has been huge for us over the years, the TB. It just didn't work out. Really Josh Allen got himself in a position that we haven't usually found a defender in that spot before. And that's a similar type of throw that TB has made on the two that he's thrown to Gio and Mixon over the years. So there's not much different. It's just, you got a guy that's not in that position very often, and sometimes that backfires on you. And so it's we wanted to go into this game and be creative and be aggressive, and that's part of it. It didn't go our way, and I don't regret the process that led to us. I do. The result's not always fun, but fortunately those guys were able to get us out of those holes, in all three phases, and proud of those guys for doing that.
James Casey keeping this amount of tight ends engaged, Is that just an overlooked part of what he's brought to the table?
No, I don't overlook it. No coach overlooks what James Casey does. I mean, he is a machine. He is the ultimate machine, and he just keeps doing his job every single day and demanding the best from his guys. No matter what role you play, they're always prepared. He's covered every scenario with them. They could probably play every position on the team based on how he teaches, just offensive football, and that's just a credit to his preparedness. I don't feel like he ever takes a second off during the day. He's always grinding and always preparing and just does a great job. And there's so much on the tight ends. There's so much in all three phases of offense and special teams, and so he's done all that himself. I've mentioned this before, not having been a starting tight end in the NFL, he's had to play all those roles, and he understands the importance of it. He understands how short-lived your career can be as a tight end, or how many years you can stretch out of it if you play it a certain way. And he's done a great job making sure that all five guys in that room play it a certain way. And I think you can ask every tight end that's ever come through here and played for him, every tight end he's ever played with in this league, and they'd all be pretty consistent with high praise for James and the way that he goes about his business.
You called him out in the post-game celebration, but is it hard sometimes not to take Evan for granted?
No, it's not hard. Just because I can appreciate his what's the word? Just his confidence, and doesn't get uptight. I don't feel him get uptight in my interactions with him. He always seems loose and prepared and puts in the work, and he's got a ton of confidence in himself. And and you see kickers around the league in big moments, maybe sometimes come up short, and he's been so consistent for us there. So I think I know enough to not take him for granted. And we put him in some tough positions. I mean, he's kicked a lot of long field goals this year. It hasn't always been chip shot field goals, which is a credit to the offense in the low red zone, I think, getting the ball across the goal line. But we've also kind of been stopped in that strike zone area where we've been forced to kick some long field goals, and he has done an excellent job coming through for us. And I know that we put him in a lot of spots, and he doesn't say a word about it, just goes out there and expects to make every single one of them.
In those walk-off type situations, you don't really have to get all that close, or it doesn't seem like you feel the need to, we've got to get down to the 20 or something.
Yeah.
Feel good about it. How big of a, luxury or advantage is it to feel confident that even if it is 48 to 55 yards, he's going to come?
That's true. I mean, you do feel like, man, it's you can get to this particular threshold for this game, because we always go through what the markers are, and he's going to come through for us, and it's a greater distance than the majority of the league for sure. That said, in a critical situation, you always want every inch matters to us, and so we do our best to just not take for granted that, hey, let's get the ball to the 42 and he can take a shot here and win it for us. Let's make sure that we get what we can and make it as easy as possible.
How much are your sons looking forward to the first family get-together of the offseason? It's funny. When I got home last night, my daughter woke up when she heard me come in, and she was excited that we had won the game. She's 7. That was the first person I heard from, and I think my sons were equally. My son Luke told me he fell asleep during the game and woke up and had to ask Siri on his little Alexa, I guess, not Siri. And Alexa told him that it was 34-31 Bengals. So he's pretty excited. I think Brooks made it through the whole game and was able to watch it. But, I'm not going to lie. Press's son Woods, I don't know how old Woods is, 2. Talking a little trash before the game. Talking a little trash, like the game had already been played out. And I said, not so fast, my friend. And so, he'll be hearing about that one over the next 20 years of his life. Thank you. Zach.
Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.